the Bowels of Netflix, where your fearless co-hosts Isaac and Larry force each other to watch the worst pieces of shit on Netflix. We will go over every bad edit, all the broken dialogue, all the wooden acting, and laugh along the way, because this is the Bowels of Netflix! Alright, welcome to the Bowels of Netflix. I am Isaac, and as always with me is the man to be feared, Mr. Larry Beard.
That is me. I am to be feared from the rear.
Only fear me from behind. From the front, I'm a cuddle monster.
I've been told I'm very soft and huggable.
It's definitely a good thing. People like to cuddle.
I can't confirm I've not hugged myself. Both because it's impossible and also I hate it.
That's one thing you'll never be able to do is hug yourself.
It's true.
That kind of thing bothers me. Like, I'll never be able to see my own eyes, not in a reflection or a picture.
I mean, yeah, you can never see your own mouth, which bothers me. I guess I can kind of get a lip in here and sound a little bit like droopy.
If you grow a mustache, you can see that.
I can't, see the inside of my mouth with my eyeballs. It bothers me. I want to be able to. Like, I can never look into my own asshole. Not that I want to. I'm sure it'd be awful, but I mean, I don't like that I can't without having to rely on Roman technology of mirrors.
It's not something like, oh, well, I wish I could, bench press 500 pounds, and it's probably never going to happen, but if I wanted to, I could.
Yeah,
this is just impossible. Will never happen. So... Hey, what the fuck are we talking about? This is the Bowels of Netflix. We make each other watch the worst pieces of shit on Netflix, and then we talk about it to each other and to you guys. And we are on the internet. We're on Twitter and Facebook. Those are both at Bowels of Netflix. So you can go flick our internet nipples there. If you want to talk a little more substantially, we do have an email address. It's bowelsofnetflix@gmail.com. That's bowels, not bowls. Please don't fuck it up, you morons. We're so tired.
It's unbelievable. I registered Bowls with Netflix as a joke, and sure enough, it's filling up. Every time we do that bit, we're just insulting our listeners.
Well, we're not insulting them. They're insulting themselves for being as stupid as they are.
I mean, yeah. They're listening to this show, so already their level of intelligence has to be fairly low.
Yeah, we're starting at the bottom.
Lowest common denominator, baby.
Oh, boy. But this week, Larry has forced me to watch a movie by a director that I used to consider probably in my top 10 for directors for I would trust watching this guy's movie is going to be fun. He's not a great filmmaker. He's not winning Best Director. He's not a Scorsese or what's his name? Spielberg. But I love it's Kevin Smith. I love Clerks. Clerks 2 is great. I love Dogma.
I love Clerks and Clerks 2. Dogma's a pile of shit, but we've talked about that.
Yeah, you're a pile of shit.
I was not arguing.
I think I was 14 when I saw it, but I have a fond place in my heart for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I'm sure if I watched it now, I'd be much more annoyed, but it was a good movie for me being 14.
I've never seen any of the movies where they're the focus.
Yeah, it's probably pretty dumb. I wouldn't bother.
They're in Clerks, and they're major characters, but it's not like Jay and Silent Bob's Clerks.
Yeah, I don't know if they can carry a whole movie thinking about it, but anyway, this movie is pretty bad, and Kevin Smith, now, okay, so, we're recording this in the spring of 2018. I don't know if you're keeping up with the news, but Kevin Smith recently had a very serious heart attack, was close to death.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it was between sets, he collapsed backstage or something and got rushed to the hospital. It was a Widowmaker kind of heart attack, because some valve or something that most people die, but he got to the hospital in time. They did a stent and everything. Huh. So he looks like he's going to be okay. He's on a, crazy new vegan diet. He just dropped 20 pounds in like a month, so he'll probably be all right. And I wish the best for him, because obviously he's probably a very good person, and he's got a family and everything, so I do not wish death on him in reality. But, so I preface that, because during this during this review, I will probably talk about how much I wish Kevin Smith was dead. I don't really, but I gotta say it. So, get well,
Some
Kevin
people
Smith.
say it was a heart attack. Others suspect foul play. Only Bowser Netflix knows the truth.
But this movie is, I think, his most recent film. It is from 2016. It is called Yoga Hosers.
I've been waiting for this to come on Netflix for a long time.
Oh boy, it's not reviewed well. It's got a 19% on the tomato meter. Critics did not like it. The audiences didn't even like it. It's 34% audience review from Rotten Tomatoes. IMDb is 4.3. I think that's as low as we've gotten for
It's
IMDb.
certainly the lowest on the tomato meter by far. IMDb probably what was it? 4.3. 4.3. Yeah, I think that might be the lowest. That we're learning a lot about people from IMDb because that's not really where I go to look for like ratings typically until we started doing this. Yeah, everything that is bad pretty much everywhere else and to us is kind of rides the middle line on IMDb.
Yeah, I think there's probably very few movies that go below a 3, I would say.
That's where I gotta start. Clearly, this is what I've learned is to pick movies is where I need to go.
But yeah, it was kind of hard to gather any spending because it had, I think, a really small release in theaters, hardly made any money in theaters. But I was digging around online. I think the budget for it was something like $5 million, which is kind of a lot. And from what I could find, box office and Blu-ray and DVD sales combined, it only made $250,000 back. So that's pretty low. I'm not good at math, but I think that's like 10%. Or 5% maybe. It's low. It didn't make much of its money back. I'm not sure. I don't think Netflix paid $4.5 million for the rights to put it up.
No.
And now you have some backstory because this is kind of part 2 of 3 movies.
Yeah. So this is a trilogy that I want to say, I don't have it pulled up, the Great North Trilogy, which is just 3
sounds right, yeah.
Canadian horror comedies. This is number 2, which is specifically why I picked it, because I have a lot of history with the first movie, which is called Tusk, which is, to make a long story short, one of my best friend's mothers watched it, and it kind of trickled down to our group of friends, and wow, it's something. And I
read the Wikipedia page. It's out there.
That came out a couple of years ago, like 2013, 2014. My girlfriend at the time absolutely fell in love with it, and so I've seen it a couple of times now. Somebody who used to work for me, he too was all just absolutely, utterly in love with it. I brought up to him because it's Keenan. You've met him. I brought up to him that I made you watch this, and he said, it's bad. I mean, it's not as Tusk is much better. So, which was kind of disappointing because this looked just wretched. And the 2 main characters in this were in Tusk as a cameo, as well as Johnny Depp's character.
Right.
And the third movie has yet to be released, but I will be keeping a sharp eye out for it.
I believe Kevin Smith has described the third film as Jaws, but if the shark was a moose.
Yeah, the movie's called Moose Jaws.
Fuck. God damn it.
It's funny to me. You say that Yoga Hosers was made on... And I saw a couple of minutes of Yoga Hosers. I actually might watch the whole thing, regardless of what Isaac's review is, because...
It's an experience.
I kind of have a history with it, and I feel like I should follow it now, because I've seen Tusk so many times. And by the way, if you've never seen Tusk, you fucking watch it. It's the worst, and it's incredible. But yeah... It astonishes me that he made Yoga Hosers on a $5 million budget, because didn't he make Clerks on like $5,000 and it's a masterpiece?
Something, I think $50,000. He maxed out a bunch of credit cards and stuff.
Yeah, because like he filmed the Clerks like on his off hours at the place, the convenience store he was working at, wasn't he? And Clerks is a phenomenal movie.
Oh my god, it's one of the best. That's
Clerks 2 is a little more commercial, but I also really like that one.
Mm-hmm. He is a very, especially a writer. I don't know about his directing chops necessarily, but he can write really, really well. Mm-hmm. He's got a couple other movies. Chasing Amy was pretty good.
That's a weird one. Yeah. I saw part of that once, in like the middle of the night. I don't know what to think about it.
Yeah, that one's a little more intense, weird romantic triangle, I think. And Jersey Girl, I just have a fondness because George Carlin's in it. It's one of his last movies he was into.
I've never even heard of that one.
Yeah, it's a rom-com with fucking Ben Affleck as the lead, so you don't need to see it. It's all right. I like it because of George Carlin, but he plays the cranky dad. And there's a little, it's cute. Little girl, it's cute. All right, so yoga. I don't want to talk about yoga hosers. That's the thing. So that was the Bowels of Netflix. We'll see you next week.
Hey, thanks for coming, everybody. Remember, stay near your pets. Stay in school. Ruin your friends' proms. Don't drink and drive. Pull out method never works.
Yeah, you got to stay in there all the way.
Any other sage advice to get? Stay in there all the way. Get it all up in there.
What you got to do is come so hard it shoots out her mouth, and then she can't get pregnant.
Oh, that is not a mental image I needed.
I'm sorry. Okay, all right. Let's do this fast. Let's get it over with, so I can bash my head against the wall and go to sleep.
I intend to drag this out for as long as humanly possible.
All right, so we see our heroes, two blonde teenage girls, rapping in the back of what looks like a store. One has a big nose, and the other has a little nose, and they will be referred to as Big Nose and Little Nose from here on in.
One of the only things I know about this movie, don't they have the same name? Isn't that like part of the game?
Yeah, they're the Colleens. It's like Colleen C and Colleen M. And
Dumb.
Big Nose happens to be Kevin Smith's daughter. Little
Really?
Nose. Yep. And Little Nose is Johnny Depp's daughter.
Oh, for the love of God.
And they are actually very close friends in real life. And one of the only things that's kind of okay in the movie is they do have a good chemistry together. It's a teenage girl chemistry, so it kind of drives me up a fucking wall. But if I was a teenage girl, I'd probably like them and like their friendship and think it was cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Johnny Depp? I mean, I know he's in this movie, and we'll get to him, but what are your thoughts on him as an actor?
He's gotten weird with it, for sure. He definitely has a lot of amazing roles he has played over the years, and he can be a phenomenal actor. But yeah, he's, the whole Tim Burton bromance is weird, and
I really don't like anything about Tim Burton or his movies, and so that's really dragged down my opinion of Johnny Depp. And it's like I can't shake it.
I'm okay with Burton mostly. I don't know. Some of his stuff is good, but generally Depp, I like the stuff I've seen, and I've chosen not to see a lot of things that he's been in. I think for good reason.
I mean,
he's definitely
good
talented.
As Jack Sparrow, but I mean, once he started doing that character, I don't think he ever stopped.
Yeah, and it's trickled over into his real life a little too much.
Yeah, kind of like who's Shrek? Who was Shrek? Michael Myers.
Mike Myers.
He started doing an Irish accent, or not, a Scottish accent, never stopped.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he doesn't have that accent normally. He was in some fucking movie and never stopped doing it. I don't remember which one. But Johnny Depp, he really doesn't. Like, now I see him and I just get this distaste in my mouth.
Yeah. Well,
so his daughter, I didn't know his daughter was an actress.
Yeah. Well, that's getting to be kind of the weird thing, because 20 years ago, Johnny Depp was an extremely attractive man. I found him attractive then. He's kind of creepy sludge old man now, a little bit. But his daughter looks a lot like him and is a woman, and I'm a heterosexual male, so she's very pretty, but looks a lot like Johnny Depp, and it's weird. It kind of weirds me out.
I'm gonna have to take a look at her, because I don't think I saw I did not knowing who it was then. I mean, now I have to know.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. It's a little strange. But anyway, but she actually, I feel like she might actually have a career in front of her, because she was definitely charismatic and could act okay with what she had, I guess. I don't know. We'll see.
And
I wouldn't be surprised if
she
has
little
a career.
nose?
What's that? She's little nose.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's a tiny ass nose.
Okay, yeah. Wow, that's weird. She looks too much like Johnny Depp for me. Okay, I'm out.
Yep.
I'm out.
Yep.
Have a good episode, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so our heroes, Big Nose and Little Nose, are rapping in what seems to be the back of a store. They have a drummer playing for them, and they're kind of playing off each other with the rap, and they make the same joke like 5 times, which is that Little Nose sets up a really obvious rhyme and Big Nose keeps flubbing it. So it's like, we're the shit top shelf and we like to skate. We're never on time because we're always sleeping. And then Little Nose looks over and is like, Colleen, late. It's supposed to say late. And they do it like 5 times. And
is that a bit they're doing?
No. They're just improving their rap, practicing their flow.
That's a joke that's kind of funny once.
Yeah.
That's like a joke that's a joke that's a side dish to a main course of another joke.
Yes, very much so.
Ugh.
All right, so they finish their rapping, and their drummer, who is a dopey-looking 20-something male, starts doing an epic drum solo. He ends up taking his shirt off while he's still playing, and then he stands up and poses dramatically, kind of flexing a little bit. And the girls burst out laughing and start taking pictures and saying they're going to put it on Instagram, and his little nipples are so funny.
Oh my god, is that his nickname? Is he going to join the prom fuckers?
No, he does get a nickname, though. Oh, and fucking Kevin Smith can't write his way out of a paper bag anymore. Jesus Christ. So, we get an introduction screen for this drummer. Now, Larry, what's an introduction screen?
It's like you get a musical sting. The camera freezes. You might get like a filter, a color filter over it, and then like his name, title, possibly a quote, and even more possibly a tagline.
Yeah, that would be a more normal way to do it, but in this movie, it freeze frames on his face, and that gets boxed up into a busy infographic that's very brightly colored, spells out his name, which is Ichabod, and there's a bunch of other info around, such as various hashtags you might use if you were going to tweet about him, and known aliases, and a few stupid jokes that you'd have to pause to be able to read any of them, and I did not pause because I didn't want to suffer through this any longer than I had to. Oh, all of this is going on with cheesy 8-bit video game music that comes out of nowhere and makes no sense.
Ugh.
It's so weird. And why is his name Ichabod?
Yeah, next question.
Just so, and this type of thing keeps happening in the movie, the only reason is so we get the joke Dickabod.
You're kidding, right?
Big Nose calls him Dickabod. Mm-hmm. Yep. Fuck you, Larry.
I was trying to think of a crane-based joke, but no, because
no, what other
what other Ichabods are there? Who the fuck names their kid Ichabod? I need to call my Canadian friend.
All right, so we find out the girls work in a convenience store, and they locked the store down so they could practice their music in the back room. They've placed a sign at the front of the door saying, urinary tract infection, back in 10 minutes.
Clerk 3 confirmed. Clerks 3.
Yep, that's the gag, Larry. It's like Clerks. Yeah. It's like Clerks. Yeah. That successful movie that he did.
Yeah.
This is just like that, just as good. Yeah.
Clinging to that glory, eh, Kev?
So there's a line of angry people who are eager to get in, and we find out they're in Canada. Because as each of the dozen people who are in line pass the girls into the store, the girls say in unison, "Sorry boot that," in the most absurd Canadian accent in the world. And one of the old ladies is casually carrying a hockey stick, and the shelves have mostly maple syrup. Fuck Canada. God damn it. Stupid. Heavy-handed bullshit.
So, now, in Perfect Sisters, another Canadian movie about 2 teenage girls.
Yeah, thanks, Larry.
Yeah, by the way, wait till you see this week's.
I will strangle you dead.
You don't live near me anymore. That's a
threat
I'll
you can't
find
follow
you. Through on. You couldn't find your way out of a Kevin Smith paper bag that he couldn't write his way out of either. How thick are the girls' accents? Or do they just have...
Not well. No, just only on certain lines.
Mm.
But that's kind of everyone. Every once in a while, someone will get extremely Canadian in their accent when it's, sorry or a boot or whatever.
So there's sorry about that is for comedy, or is that...
Yes.
Okay.
I have to imagine it's a caricature.
It's the characters being snide.
No, it's, I guess, a joke in the movie. I mean, they're in Canada, they're Canadians.
Okay.
In story. But it's gotta be Kevin Smith doing a wink like, Canadian accents are funny, huh? It can't be him thinking he has nailed the dialect. Because I would just die then.
What does he do nowadays? He's on a reality show. Was he on King of the Nerds? Was that him?
I don't know for sure. I know he does stand-up and tours, and he has, I think it's called Smodcast. He hosts a fairly successful podcast, so he's a fucking loser.
Yeah, who the fuck hosts podcasts?
Right.
I mean, the only thing worse than hosting a successful podcast is hosting a podcast that nobody listens to. Or only idiots who can't spell the name of the podcast and send emails to the wrong place.
Well, at least there's hundreds of them, so there's that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just
all
one
right.
guy.
He keeps writing. It's weird.
I think he's committed a murder and he's sending me the details. I think we're supposed to solve the puzzle.
It's actually the Zodiac Killer. This is how he reveals it.
Boy, he's been taking a lot of time off.
Yeah, well, okay, so a cute teenage boy walks into the store.
How
Big
cute.
Nose flips out because he's cute. His
How
less
cute?
cute... How cute?
Yeah, like 1 out of 10.
I don't like his face. He looks kind of creepy. He also looks a little bit too much like Jason Mewes, who plays Silent Bob. So I don't know if he's related to him. I don't think Jason Mewes has any kids, though. But it might be his nephew or something. I didn't bother looking
I thought
that
Silent Bob was Kevin Smith. You mean Jay?
I might have gotten Jay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Silent Bob was Kevin Smith. Wait a minute,
Shut
what?
up. I got the names mixed up because I'm a fucking tool, Larry.
That's alright, you're my fucking tool.
That's the only way I want it to be.
And I'm gonna beat you just like it.
So yeah, the cute guy has his friend who's a little less cute. The girls think he's gross. Whatever. They both get fucking intro screens, just like Dickabod. With the 8-bit music and the hashtags, and what the fuck is this? Oh my god.
Any hashtags worth mentioning, or you didn't?
No, I didn't.
Now, how many times did you watch this movie?
2 times solidly through, and then I, dipped a toe in here and there to refresh myself on some scenes.
Alright.
And I wheeled my wife into the room to suffer through part of it.
Oh, but you can't escape. I mean, you might as well make it, right?
I put the locks on the chair and then, have her watch as long as I want her to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you can roll away with those smashed up fingers.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta make hay while the lemons shine, right? Something like that.
Like, you can't get married without smashing a few fingers. It's just a known thing. I want to put that in the speech I'm writing for the wedding I'm performing. That's right, kids. I also perform weddings. I will go anywhere and perform any wedding you want, absolutely free. I just want to do it. It's a power I never get to use.
Oh man, I'm picturing that filled with all the rage and hate that you're capable of. It sounds delightful. Remember, you have to be, from last episode, you have to be the new Mr. Rogers, but filled with hate. That was a disturbing speech you gave. Good lord.
I listened to that episode, and that was. I went to a bit of a dark place, but the sad part is, it's like it's just pretty much just below the surface at any given point. I didn't have to dig too deep for that one.
That's you'd be honest, so that's why you'd be a good communicator to children, because they can sniff out bullshit very quickly.
It's true.
So we find out that the girls are sophomores and the boys are seniors. They invite the girls to a grade 12 party, and the girls are ecstatic. Yay.
Okay.
In a dark park, we see one of the customers who was in the store, some big guy with a beard. He didn't really do anything. He had a one-line throwaway. Something spooks him. There's some weird noise. We hear a little snippet of a strange, kind of high-pitched voice. And kind of, like, rising up into frame, close to the camera, we see the back of a German spiked helmet. Probably more traditional from World War I believe. History serves me correctly. Then we see the man fall on the ground, obviously in pain, and screams into the night, "Get out of my butt!"
Oh, God, no. No. What? No, I didn't know that. No, what?
Yeah, Larry. You fucking knob. You fucking knob. This movie.
Oh, no.
So we meet Big Nose's mom, and she, of course, gets an intro screen. She seems to be the manager of a fast food restaurant, generic Wendy's or whatever. The two girls are seeking permission to attend the grade 12 party. They reassure Mom that they couldn't fool around with anyone anyway because they're on their periods. And the mom says, no, you're not in your period because our cycles are synced and I don't get mine for 2 weeks. And then they talk about periods for a while. And the joke is that there's a young man trying to eat and keeps getting grossed out while they mention their periods and period blood and tampons and what have you. That joke just gets run to the ground 5 or 6 times. And it's a shitty joke in the first place.
Yeah, because ladies are gross. Y'all got gross bits. And
yep,
we
you
men
should be
want to eat in
embarrassed
peace.
and ashamed.
Yeah, god damn it. That poor boy.
He just wanted to eat his fucking French fries and not think about the miracle of life that you hold inside your body.
Did they have poutine on them? Because it's Canadian?
I didn't look that closely.
Because poutine, you know what poutine resembles?
Period blood?
No, gravy. What the fuck?
Oh.
The fuck?
Well, I
What's
guess
wrong
I
with
haven't.
you?
I haven't eaten any poutine recently.
Spoiler, I have no idea what poutine is. I know it's a thing Canadians eat.
Pretty sure it is close to gravy. Anyway, we see the girls now with their yoga instructor, who's played by Justin Long, who had some, like, teenager, young adult movie fame 10, 15 years ago. He was in
Yeah, the name
Accepted
sounds
and
familiar.
whatever.
Oh,
He's
Accepted. Ugh.
Yeah. Those kind of movies that, you know, are funny if you're young and don't know anything. But, yeah.
I had sex during Accepted.
Oh, well, there's
So
that.
I don't remember anything about it except, like, the first 20 minutes.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's the kind of movie that has enough jokes, but that you can laugh, but I don't know. I have not wanted to go back and watch it again ever. But he is the only glimmer of hope in the movie, honestly. Because he does a bunch of goofy yoga poses with silly names that are actually a little... I don't know if they're clever, but they make me chuckle. Like, Pretentious Frog, Dissatisfied Customer, Atlas Shrugged, and he's got these weird little movements for them. That gave me a chuckle. You might hate it, Larry, but that was I think the only time I came close to actually laughing in this 90-minute comedy. But that's as good as it gets. Alright, so now Little Nose is going to ask her dad for permission to attend the grade 12 party. Dad is played by whatever the actor who played, I think, Buster from Arrested Development.
Oh, yeah.
He overacts like crazy. He's really excited, kind of daddy's girl kind of dad.
Well, that's kind of his shtick, isn't it?
I don't know for sure. He's definitely different than Buster, but it's weird.
He's in Veep too, and he's supposedly very good in it.
Oh right, I always forget that's him. I have seen a few episodes of that. So he's super excited about the party, and his little girl's growing up so fast. But then his mean girlfriend appears, and yes, both she and Dad get fucking intro screens with 8-bit music and hashtag fuck bullshit. Goddamn you, Larry. We find out Dad owns the convenience store the girls work at, and he has made his girlfriend the manager, so she's the direct supervisor of our heroes, the Noses.
I see.
So there's some conflict.
She's gonna get a Nazi in her ass, isn't she?
We'll see, Larry. Now, Dad says they're going to the bedroom to watch a movie. Little Nose pouts and requests that he leave the door open. As soon as he gets to the bedroom, Dad's girlfriend instructs him to close the door, and there's kind of the power struggle between the daughter and the girlfriend. But, as always, Pussy wins out, so he shuts the door, and she asks him if he wants to jump in the bouncy house. And he says yes, and they start the sexy times. Meanwhile, the girls in their bedroom
I don't want to think about Buster having sex.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable to watch. I mean, they just start making out. They begin the foreplay. We don't see any tits or anything.
Poor
but
you.
It's still uncomfortable. While this is going on, the girls start singing a sappy fucking piano love ballad song. God, it's so bad. But apparently the dad can hear it perfectly through the walls, and he starts sobbing, and the sexy time stops so he can sing along, because it's the song he sang to his little girl, and she's a baby. I don't fucking know. It's stupid.
How? The girls are sophomores? What?
Yes.
As sophomore, you're like 15, 16?
Yep.
Okay. Odd.
Yeah, it's weird. And it... okay. Oh, I gotta get through this or I'm gonna stroke out. We cut to high school gym class. Everyone else in the gym class is doing yoga, but our heroes, the noses, are sitting on the bleachers with their phones.
But they're yoga posters, isn't that...
Well,
What?
the gym teacher comes up and gets mad at them because they're not doing yoga, and they they give the gym teacher a note from their yoga instructor saying they're all yogaed up and this bullshit doesn't even qualify as real yoga. Gym teacher gets very mad and yells about how they always have their faces in their phones and they don't know how to interact with the real world. So she confiscates their phones and tells them they can pick them up at the end of the day. And naturally, Big Nose faints at this prospect.
Oh, God, it's just like F the prom.
Yep, teenagers and their phones, man. So next, we're in history class. The teacher, who's a kind of hot lady with a super French accent, which I kind of groove on, but she's got a gap in her front teeth wider than the goddamn English Channel, so that's a little weird. But she's giving a very...
Netflix, we believe in not judging people for their appearance, but for their merit as a human.
I'd still bang her. I'd just be thinking about the gap in the teeth the whole time.
There you go, feminists. Get a load of that.
I'm a progressive.
He's one of the most progressive people I know, I swear. We're just awful people.
Sometimes you have to joke about the dirty things in the laundry or whatever.
Oh, or everything. Just literally everything.
So she gives a very impassioned lesson of the Canadian Nazis that lay in wait for Hitler to win the war and cross the ocean. Now, we get some black and white footage of the leader of the Canadian Nazi Party. He's a rather heavy man with a big round face and greasy slicked back hair and a mustache. And he is portrayed by an actor that is very surprising to me, and this actor was in Tusk. I think Tusk starts out with two podcast hosts, and one of them ends up being the main character, kind of, right?
Yeah.
And the other podcast host isn't that important, is that right?
He's kind of vaguely important, but not really. It's really mostly about the other guy.
But so the one who doesn't turn into a walrus, right?
Wait.
I read the Wikipedia page.
Are you saying what I think you're saying, then? Because I know who that is.
Yes. It's Haley Joel Osment.
Haley Joel Osment's a Nazi in Kevin Smith movies now, kids.
Yeah. So if any of you don't know, Haley Joel Osment was like the shit in the late 90s, the big coming up kid star. He actually played, I didn't know this, he was Forrest Gump's son in Forrest Gump.
Really?
Yeah, and then his big thing was Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
He was a kid in that. And he was in a bunch of other things. He was in Pay It Forward with Kevin Spacey, and I swear to God, if Kevin Spacey laid a fucking hand on him, I will flip shit.
What are your thoughts about The Sixth Sense? Because I hate it.
I haven't seen it since I was 12.
I've never. It's a movie that. Forget it. I'll do it on my side podcast. Why I hate The Sixth Sense. Starring
Larry's side podcast, Hate, with Larry Beard.
Fucking stay tuned, because there might come a day where that's actually a thing, because all I do is hate. I'm just full of hate. I'm going to die alone.
So, our Nazi ringleader, played by Haley Joel Osment, I didn't know it was...
It's a hard pill to swallow.
I didn't know it was him, and then I found out, and then I couldn't unsee it, but he looks so different. It's weird. Yeah,
he's like kind of chubby, and he's kind of ruddy-faced, and I mean, I'm way fatter than he is, and I'm much more ruddy-faced, but it's so odd, because he dropped off the face of the planet, like all child stars do, and then here he is here on just fucking yoga hosers and Tusk, and...
making bank, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a billionaire.
So he stands in the street preaching about rounding up all the Canadian Jews and putting them in boats and sending them out into the Hudson Bay, then firing rockets at the boats so they sink.
I feel like you're wasting a lot of resources there.
Yeah.
That you're wasting a lot of boats, a lot of rockets.
Well,
bullets got to be cheaper than a rocket.
When it comes to genocide, you kind of got to hope they're not efficient. That was really the problem with the German Nazis. They were good at it.
Yeah, well, see, this is why when Fourth Reich comes around, we're going to have some goddamn efficiency.
Oh, my God. And then we find out there is a brilliant German scientist living in Canada at the time. I think his name is Arcane McFuckmaster. I don't know. It's something stupid.
It wouldn't surprise me if that was the name, to be honest.
Honestly. But once the war ended, he vanished into thin air, and then the history class ends, and I left on that fucking cliffhanger.
Have you ever seen a movie? It's
Schindler's List? Yeah.
Oh man, I really got caught off guard. That one made me cry like a baby at the end, and I went into it with my arms folded and thought, like, movies don't make me sad. This can't make me sad. It's just Liam Neeson. Boy, howdy did I just fold like just a sack of wet potatoes.
Yep, I'm sure you did, man.
But did you ever see a movie called Kung Fury? It's like 30 minutes long. It's actually on Netflix. It's amazing. It's like maybe 30, 35 minutes, and you should watch it, because it's about Hitler who disappears from time because he travels through time to the future to become a Kung Fu master.
Oh my God. And are you saying that's so good or so bad it's good?
It's incredible. No, because it's filmed in a very 80s style. Seriously, it's like one of the best things the internet has produced in the last 5 years. It's not about Hitler. It's about Kung Fury, who's a cop who knows Kung Fu. It's amazing. You should all go and watch it.
I'll take a peek. All right, so the girls go to the principal's office. It's the end of the day. They're going to get their phones. The principal is a youngish, sassy black woman who stays hip to the things that the kids are currently grooving on. Of course, she gets an intro screen, and her name, because as we find out, Ichabod Dickabod, Kevin Smith really likes rhymes. Her name is Principal Invincible.
Well, that's moronic.
Yep, very stupid. Very, very stupid. And there's an awkward, because they're whining about their phone. She gives them their phones back, and then she says, "Oh, you two can make a movie about how hard your lives are and call it 12 Years a Private School Student. You see what I did there? I just compared your privileged lives to slaves. And that's weird, because I'm black."
Is that a line from the movie?
Yes, it is. It's very bizarre.
Did they steal that line from us in the future? Did Kevin Smith time travel?
I don't know, and that, like, you can see where the Kevin Smith from Clerks is kind of lying dormant under that bullshit, because some of the cadence is good and could be really funny. It's a dumb and awkward joke. I don't know. All right, so the girls go meet Guy Lapointe, who is who is played by Mr. Johnny Depp. And so yeah, I didn't recognize, because I knew Johnny Depp was in the movie. I did not recognize him first time around, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I really didn't. It was only when I got to the end of the movie and realized, where the fuck was Johnny Depp? And I was like, oh. But on second watching, knowing it, it's very obvious. But he's got this crazy, bushy handlebar mustache and absurd eyebrows. He's wearing a big hat and a scarf.
Isn't he like some kind of cross-eyed or something?
I forget. He's got weird facial expressions and a unidentifiable foreign accent.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if they did this in Tusk, because the character's in that as well, right?
Yeah.
Did his moles change place in almost every scene?
I'm guessing they did, but I didn't notice. Yeah. Also, I haven't seen Tusk in like 2 or so years now, so I don't remember that particular detail.
Yeah.
That seems like a cheap laugh, I guess.
Yep, I hate it. I hate it so bad.
I hate it too, because why?
I know, point? It's not Okay, so he takes the girls to the library, and they follow the creepy old foreign man for some reason.
Why is he there?
I don't know.
How does he come? Do they know him?
Okay, I didn't write this down because They're in the principal's office. They get their phones back. They go to start using them. And they're like, oh my god, my phone is dead. And then the camera pans over and there's Guy Lapointe. And he says, oh, you girls shouldn't play with dead things. And then they're all just going to the library together like buddies. It's really weird.
Okay.
So he goes and retrieves the copy of his book that is in the school library. And we find someone has changed the name with like a blue Sharpie from Guy Lapointe to Gay Lapointe. And his picture on the back now has a hairy scrotum dangling from his chin.
Yeah, that's quality humor.
So he describes the crime scene where the customer from the store had his ass destroyed and was dead in the park. And I guess that's it. And he's an investigator who's investigating things. I don't really know. But they end up...
Tusky's like a sort of like a paranormal investigator, except he works like a cop, private eye kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, that's basically the same character here. And I gotta interject because they part ways then. But he does the fucking like don't worry about algebra. You'll never use it when you get out of school line. That people and I hate it so much because especially basic algebra you use all the fucking time. You just don't know you're doing it, but it's important to have the basis in it. If you look and you say, all right, I'm hosting a 4th of July party, we're going to need 40 hot dogs. I have 15 hot dogs in the fridge. That means I need 25 hot dogs. That's fucking algebra, you fucking moron. It's important. The quadratic formula in algebra 2, maybe not as much, but basic algebra is fucking important. Oh my god.
Value your free education, kids.
Yes, seriously. God.
Don't, if you're in high school or younger, first of all, if you're younger than high school, stop listening to this. I say the word cum far too much for a middle schooler to be listening to this.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you?
I said if you... well, I better cut that because it's pretty funny. So 42 minutes, then 30-ish seconds. I said if you're in high... What was the last thing you heard? We're going to have to cut it a little bit.
No, I heard you talking about cum and little kids.
Were you just being funny? I thought you couldn't hear me.
No, I was just being an ass. I just wanted you to say it again more emphatically.
I thought the call cut out. We're gonna leave off this thing.
Oh god.
We're professionals. We're really professionals.
Oh yeah, in a big way.
Yeah, no, I say cum far too much for children to be listening to this. Did you get that fucking clear enough in your cans? You turn up the gain. Let me get real close to the mic. Make it all sensual.
I think I got you.
Middle schoolers and cum. No. What was I talking about?
Middle schoolers and cum.
No, besides that.
That's
it doesn't matter.
Podcast.
Carry on.
All right, so Little Nose Dad's
Christ.
girlfriend has arranged an impromptu romantic weekend to Niagara Falls, which means our heroes will have to work the weekend shifts and therefore miss the big grade 12 party. And it's a whole power struggle thing where the girlfriend knows exactly what she's doing and Little Nose flips her off and they whine and bitch. So the girls are at work when they're supposed to be at the grade 12 party. Little Nose hatches a plan, though, to have the party come to them at the store since it's a slow night anyway.
Oh, shit.
And we find out the 2 senior guys who were in the store before were never at a party in the first place. And they're, in fact, planning on killing the girls and burying them in shallow graves.
Whoa! What?
Yeah, took a turn. It's like a 180 right there. Just
begging your pardon.
That would be kill the girls, bury them in. I'm sorry, was that? Yeah, shallow graves. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
But now the cute one says, no, this is better because we can really take our time with the murders and then stage it like a robbery gone wrong. But if it's a robbery gone wrong, you wouldn't take your time killing them. Stupid. Yeah, just terrible, right? Terrible. So the boys arrive at the store, And they explain away, like, oh, well, everyone else at the party didn't want to come to the store, but since I've never been much of a follower, I just thought we could party, just us. So Attractive Guy and Big Nose split off to take a tour of the back room. He mentions that he's a Canadian Satanist, and the devil needs pure, untouched souls of virgins. And then he says the real shit sandwich of it all is that I have to cut you open to get to it. And then he pulls out a giant knife.
I have many questions.
Throw them at me, man.
Is there a difference between Canadian Satanists and regular Satanists?
Well, no, not in real life, but he goes into a couple of details that I couldn't be bothered to remember because they make me angry.
Okay, apparently I had one question. Carry on.
So Big Nose pulls out, and her mom gave her a switchblade to it's called it like the circumciser. I don't know, something stupid, like to fight back at boys when they try to rape her, because that's the only thing boys want to do. I don't know, whatever.
Well, I mean, probably. Boys are the worst.
Yeah. So Big Nose pulls out the switchblade, points it at his balls, he puts down the knife, and says, sorry about that. Oh, God. Fuck's sake.
So he gives up?
Yep. As soon as the knife is up against his balls, he's got, like, his knife held up like he's about to stab her in the chest, and he just lowers it in protection of his balls. But then immediately, he screams and collapses to the floor dead. From his agape mouth, I want you to listen to these words carefully, because you won't accept them in the order they're in. But just try to go with me. From his agape mouth crawls a 6-inch bratwurst Hitler in a Canadian Mountie uniform.
But a bratwurst?
Yeah, its head looks like the top of a sausage. It's got the kind of, the knot and like the little twist of...
Wait. No, I know what a fucking bratwurst is.
Well, why it's bratwurst is explained more later.
But I thought that... Okay. All right. Yeah,
well,
you know what? I'm gonna settle in. I'm gonna drop my acid tab now. I wish you'd given me a little warning. I could have dropped it sooner.
Now, Larry, when a 6-inch bratwurst Hitler in a Canadian Mountie uniform crawls out of the mouth of a dead teenage boy, what would it say?
I assume a bunch of nonsense German, which is one of the funniest things in the world, but it's got to be a quip or a pun or both. Something like, smells like maple syrup in here.
Nope. You were a little closer with the German, but it's not nonsense, and I'm going to try to do the voice justice, but I won't get it, because it's so preposterous.
Is this Haley Joel Osment?
No.
Okay.
You'll find out where it ties into the story later.
Oh,
for
good.
fuck's sake, man.
Will I really?
But it pops out of his mouth, looks up at Big Nose, and says, Wunderbar! Yeah. Wunderbar. Which I believe is wonderful in German.
What the hell? How do you know it's a Nazi?
Well, it's got the Hitler mustache and the German helmet. And
okay.
we just
the
know
helmet was World War I, though.
I don't think Kevin Smith knows that. And I think
I guess you need to make a bratwurst look like a Nazi. You gotta take some creative liberties.
Yeah, and he needed the pointed... They might have had some pointed helmets in World War II for the officers, yeah.
Could have, I don't know.
But the pointed helmet goes in the ass, shreds it up, right.
So do they have little arms and legs?
Yeah, it's basically a functioning little person, but
fully ambulatory
yes.
German Nazi bratwurst, Canadian yes. Nazi bratwurst. Okay, I'm gonna need more than just acid for this.
Now, why? I know it's bratwurst because Germans eat bratwurst and all that, but we got a bit of a pun thing going on. Why do you think it's bratwurst? Bratwurst Nazis. Bratsies.
What? No.
They're
I was going to say
Bratsies.
something about the worst.
Nope.
Because they're the worst.
They are Bratsies.
Bratsies? That's the joke?
That's the central joke of the movie.
You're kidding me.
That is the joke upon which the movie is built.
Oh, no. No. So,
God.
Are they... I'll reserve the rest of my judgment till you get farther, because I have questions about the Nazis.
Yeah, some of them will be answered as we go. So, this all took place in the back of the store. Now, at the front of the store, Little Nose and the less attractive guy are kind of hanging out. The creepy guy is drinking Slurpee right out of the machine, and I don't know, whatever.
It's hot.
Yeah, but he pulls out a hammer. He's about to bash Little Nose's head in, and a Bratzi crawls up his ass. He starts screaming. He lifts up his shirt. We see the, not silhouette, but the impression of the Nazi crawling up his torso, then out of his mouth while breaking his neck in the process.
So how do they get up their ass?
I guess they run and jump. That's never shown.
Pull that line for future reference.
I'll make a note of the time there. All right.
Oh, man. So it doesn't show it, but that's...
No, yeah, it just shows him, holding the hammer up, and then he, falls on his knees, oh, God, no, my butt.
Okay.
All right, so the girls unite, and they're like, what the fuck is going on? And there's a bunch of Bratzis running around now, and they have to fight them. So Big Nose shoves a Bratzi in the microwave and turns it on. It pounds on the glass door and screams, 99999! And then finally looks very sad and says, Auf Wiedersehen! Before it explodes, revealing that its blood is made of sauerkraut.
That's just racist. Now it's just straight up racist. Hey, is that racism?
I don't know, man. I don't know. The girls pull another one apart. One grabs the arms, one grabs the legs, and they rip it in half. And as he lays dying on the floor in a pool of his sauerkraut blood, he looks over at his severed legs, and just before dying says, Mein Kampf! Which is My Struggle, which is the title of Adolf Hitler's memoir. Yeah.
But yeah. Why, though? But why?
So, Little Nose tries to call 911 for help, but Stan Lee answers the phone and derisively says, damn yoga hosers, and hangs up on him.
Oh, yeah, they're friends, aren't they?
Yeah, just fuck. God damn it.
God.
So, dozens of Bratzis are closing in on the girls, so they decide to activate their yoga powers.
What? Hold on. Back up. We talking like Dragon Ball Z, or...
Not really, because in yoga there actually is Warrior 1 and Warrior 2, those are real poses. So they quick go into those poses back to back, and then they scream, Warrior 3, which as far as I know isn't a real pose, and they just fight the Nazis, the Bratzis, in a way that isn't really related to yoga at all.
Warrior... Yoga 3, wow, god damn it, fucking twice in a row. Warrior 3 is a thing, but it's not, you balance on one leg.
Okay.
We used to do it as part of P90X.
Well, that's not...
So you kind of make a T-shape.
Not in this movie.
Okay.
It is smashing a bunch of Bratzis to death.
Is that part of yoga? I'm so... What the fuck just happened in the last 10 minutes of this review?
Yep.
Just... They're not, freaking out or anything?
No, they're kind of freaking out and saying, what the hell is going on? This is crazy. Whatever.
Are the Bratzis... Oh, fucking Jesus. Are the Bratzis trying to kill them? Going up their ass?
Fighting them, but they don't try to go up their asses. But you'd think since they were so effective at going up everyone else's ass, it would be easy.
Also,
so again,
this is
bad writing.
Crass, but ladies have 2 holes to get into them. An extra, more than a man. Well, technically, you know what? Forget it. Fuck it. Back to. I'm gonna go smoke meth. Back to the fucking Nazis.
So they kill the rest of the Bratzis with they stomp on them, they kick them, they hit them with hockey sticks and mops, and They all die in big splashes of sauerkraut, which is really shitty CGI. It's like glowing yellow, which sauerkraut wouldn't do. And so they kill the last ones, and then the girls run outside and find a bunch of cops all pulled up at the store, their lights flashing, and they get arrested for the murder of the 2 boys.
Okay, that seems fair.
And we cut to the police station, where the girls are in orange jumpsuits. Guy LaPointe bribes his way in to see them. He lets them know that he knows about the Bratzies. He's got half of one in a Ziploc bag. But none of the police found them. Whatever. Whatever. Then he breaks them out of jail on the promise that Little Nose will show him the secret passage in the store.
He breaks them out.
Yeah, it's not really shown off on screen. It's just, I can if you have the secret passageway, I could get you out of here. And then, whoa, we're at the store. Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking dumb. Don't expect it to make sense.
I'm sorry. That's on me.
Fucking wrong, Larry. You're wrong.
I'm sorry.
So the 3 of them get to the store, and it's just awkward and clunky. So the 2 girls go in the bathroom to change out of the orange jumpsuits, and Big Nose says to Little Nose, "Why didn't you ever tell me there was a secret passage? That's so cool." And Little Nose says, "There's not a secret passage. I just said it so he'd get us out of jail." And then a secret passage opens behind the toilet, and they get kidnapped by Bratzies.
Okay, I need you to.
That part's not shown on screen. Because the secret passage just starts opening, and then it cuts away to LaPointe, who's like, "What's going on?" And he enters the bathroom, and no one's in there.
Okay, all right.
I'm
thinking too hard about it.
He gets a sleeping poison dart shot in his neck by a Bratzi, and then he is taken down the secret passage behind the toilet.
Oh, God.
So...
God, this is the worst.
It's pretty wild, man. Oh, God. So again, Kevin Smith likes rhymes and things that could maybe be considered by some to be puns. And there's one coming up here, and again, this joke, this stupid rhyme is central to the plot of the movie. And it says it like 5 times. So they all come to, and they are strapped to chairs at the end of a long, opulent dining table in a Canadian subterranean Nazi stronghold. Sitting at the other end of the table is the German scientist who vanished at the end of World War II. And he starts talking in his German accent and stuff like that. And then he apologizes that his accent might be a little threatening. And he offers to talk in a Al Pacino accent for a while.
Okay.
Which he does, and he does a passable Al Pacino accent. It's kind of the jokey thing where he says "hoo-wah" at the end of everything.
All right.
But it's very weird. And
as a purveyor of bad accents, I can appreciate that.
The joke is the girls don't know the people he's doing the accents of, because Al Pacino's old and they're young, and Guy LaPointe, of course, knows, and he's, that's actually a good Al Pacino. Then he switches to Sylvester Stallone, and then Batman, and there's some confusion because he's doing the Adam West Batman, but the girls only know Christian Bale.
Right.
Then he switches over to Schwarzenegger for a little while, and he explains his master plan.
In between accents?
Yeah. And I guess he sort of leads up to it, and then I think he switches back to German for the main I don't fucking remember this.
Okay.
Stupid
Forget
movie.
It. Ugh.
So, at the end of the war, he realized the Nazi party was going to fall. He had to do something. So he took his own DNA, which, by the fucking way, was not discovered until 1953, and World War II ended in 1945. Fuck you, Kevin Smith.
The Nazis. They kept it hidden because, those crafty Jews would have done if they had DNA splicing technology.
You know, one of the DNA guys is still alive. I always forget which one it is. I think it's Watson.
Oh, really?
But he's still kicking. He's like almost 100, but yeah, he's alive and doing shit. Chill ass dude. But yeah, so German scientist takes his own DNA, bratwurst, and the finest sauerkraut from Deutschland, and in a sausage grinder, forms a Nazi army of clones of himself that are to be incubated for 100 years, upon which they will be full life-size clones. Does that clear a few things up for you?
Okay, so these are just baby Nazi doctors? And they're all clones?
He molds them into, small doll-shape bratwurst things and sticks them in this big oven. Incubator. And in 100 years, they're supposed to be life-size clones of him.
Okay.
Now, in the interim, he decided to cryogenically freeze himself, which involves him just climbing into an old-timey fridge with a couple buttons on it. But 70 years later, because this is all 37 feet under the convenience store.
Uh-huh.
So 70 years after he froze himself, the girls playing their rap music in the back room overloaded the power supply, caused a surge, and interrupted the cryogenic freezing and the incubation process, leaving the clones permanently stuck less than a foot high and underdeveloped, ruining his master plan.
Oh my god. I can't take it.
So, distraught, the German scientist snuck up into the convenience store in the middle of the night when no one was around and started watching a bunch of TV to familiarize himself with the current culture. Which is why he can do the accents.
Ugh.
And we get some backstory that the scientist used to have a passion for sculpting, but that was squashed out by unkind critics who laughed at his sculptures.
Oh, who does that sound an awful lot like?
Yeah, seriously.
Sounds an awful lot like, me. Why do you think I hate art?
But we find out his passion for sculpting has been rekindled, and he reveals his newest sculpture, which he claims captures the essence of Canada. It is called the Goalie Golem, and it is a 10-foot-tall hulking monstrosity sewn together from the flesh of his recent victims with a giant Jason-type hockey mask.
Okay, for our Canadian listeners, are you offended yet? I feel like I should be offended for you.
Yeah, God damn it, Larry, and his movie. What do you...
Is he pro-Canada?
No, he's just pro-Nazi.
Decided to...
Yeah, I don't know. Fucking bad writing. Kevin Smith deserves to die. No, he doesn't. He really doesn't. But I hope he gets well. I really hope he gets well. I just hope he stops making
a Google
fucking
News
movies.
alert that might interest you.
If he dies before we release this episode, I will be so mad.
That would be almost funny.
Oh, God. Okay, so... we're getting to the end here, so it's coming hard and fast. A couple dozen Bratzies who, during the entire speech, have just kind of been chilling, like in a flower box hanging on the wall.
How many are there total? Do we know?
No. We'll see, this is the last of them. But,
okay.
But we got a couple dozen, and they're just swarming around in the box, making noises and saying, Wunderbar! Ugh.
Jeez.
So they run up a ramp and into the, face hole of the Goalie Golem. Once inside, they puppet the Golem to life, who stomps around wielding a bloody hockey stick.
Okay.
The scientist instructs the Golem to go kill critics, and...
beg your pardon?
The scientist does not like critics because they made fun of his sculptures, so he's making his sculpture go kill critics.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
But then because I guess the golem doesn't understand the instructions very well, and he gets frustrated, so he insults the golem, or criticizes the golem, if you'd want to say it that way.
The golem.
So the golem thinks he's a critic and kills him.
No! That's the worst!
And yeah, it's Smith's not so subtle statement of, I'm gonna make the movies I want and fuck the critics. And he has every right to do so, and he can be as proud of the result as he wants to be. But I have the right to shit all over the fucking dumpster fire of Canadian Nazi Bratzy bullshit he brought into this world, and shove it in his face if he's willing to listen. Fucking asshole.
God, it's so bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
What the actual hell?
Pretty bad. So, the girls...
In pain. I'm actually getting it. Trying to figure this out.
The girls activate their yoga powers again.
No, they don't have yoga powers. They just know yoga.
Warrior 1, Warrior 2, Warrior 3, kick punch, kick punch. And they fight the golem in a variety of ways. Punches, kicks, and tripping him, and stupid. It's like a wrestling match. It's stupid. It's a bad wrestling match. Upon every blow the golem takes, a Bratzy is ejected from its face and lands on the floor or hits the wall and squashes into sauerkraut blood. There are a bunch of Batman-y kapows and blams that come up on the screen in brightly colored lettering.
Such a talented writer, Kev.
Yeah.
Really?
Then,
what went wrong?
I don't know.
What happened to you? Who hurt you?
Seriously. Then the girls win, the golem's dead, and the movie ends with the girls back at their yoga instructor's studio practicing yoga.
What? That's just it?
Yeah. They're on a newspaper cover for saving Canada from Nazis. Something stupid. There's a couple wrap up the movie dumb things, but none of them matter.
Fuck it. Okay.
And so I realized a couple things. This should never have been a movie, but this could have been a fine South Park episode, or parts of it could have been a fine SNL sketch.
Which parts? Which?
Because if you don't have to take any of it seriously, and it's just little Nazis crawling up people's asses, that
could be South Park.
Right, yeah. That'd definitely be South Park, and probably the accent thing. You could do that into an SNL sketch.
Yeah, they have a whole Canadian thing, right? I don't really watch South Park.
No, the scientist doing different accents to make his victims feel more comfortable or whatever.
Okay, that's right.
So,
right.
Or you could probably, and again, because this there's no story here. The story could have taken place in 5 to 10 minutes. You know, get rid of all the special effects. I don't know what you do with the Bratzis, but you could pack this into an SNL sketch. That would have been fine.
All the tertiary characters with their fucking scenes didn't go anywhere.
No.
What happened to Dickabob?
I guess he still plays drums for him.
What was the point?
So
what about Principal Invincible?
We could get the Dickabob joke, and we could get the Principal Invincible joke.
Well, that's not even a joke.
I mean, rhyme. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh,
Kevin Smith, why? Why did you do this?
Oh, God. This is 1,000,000,000 times worse than Tusk.
Yeah. Now, okay, so, and trust me, I hated this movie, and talking about it is making me angry. I don't think I'm as angry or have as much hatred as I had for Perfect Sisters. Believe it or not.
I do believe it, because you got really upset about that.
This movie was so bland and dumb and not funny. It was just weird and boring. So there wasn't, I mean, aside from the bad writing and the jokes that weren't jokes and the absurdity, there wasn't a whole lot to get angry about. It was a lot of rolling my eyes and wishing Kevin Smith was dead. I hope he stays alive for a long time. I really do. But I felt it in my bones for a minute, and then I felt bad about myself. But Yeah.
Maybe because we're critical of this, we can start a feud with him.
Yeah, that could work.
This could be our celebrity feud, which catapults us to the top.
Yeah, we'll go on the podcast, or we could host him on here. We could do an interview.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Kevin Smith, what the fuck is wrong with you these days?
Also, here's another disconnect. He's got these this Great North trilogy is supposed to be like these Canadian horror comedies. Well, 2 are about monsters and one's about Nazis.
Yep.
Are they? I mean, okay, yeah, Nazis are monsters. The Nazis were awful, but I mean, they're still.
Yeah, they're not cryptozoology monsters.
I don't care. And I mean, the first one's about a guy who is a walrus. Fuck it. Why am I trying to figure this out? I don't fucking. This is moronic. My God. You fucking puke.
Now, Larry, I know we've been making fun of this movie. I know we've been making fun of this movie, and. You know, when I write up my master's thesis, I think of the most absurd bullshit. Mm-hmm. And that obviously the writer didn't intend. But after I finished writing this, I kind of thought, is this actually what this movie is supposed to be about?
And I'm pretty you have an actual master's thesis?
I'm pretty sure... Well, it's somewhat applicable, but I'm pretty sure it's not, because this movie came out in... I gotta check when it came out in 2016. All right, well, it was released January 24th, 2016. So my theory is probably incorrect, and you'll see why.
Fascinated now.
But we are going to school. Do you have your propeller beanie on, sir?
I'm never in public without it, so...
All right, please don't look at the gap in my teeth while I teach you, okay?
I'd still fuck you.
That's all I needed to know. Kevin Smith's Yoga Hoses is a subtle yet deeply intellectual treatise on the lurking fascism of Donald Trump's America. We may be living our lives, practicing our rap music and taking yoga lessons, all the while blinded by the haze of banality of everyday life. But, much like an army of diminutive Nazis, mostly consisting of bratwurst, with a vocabulary of roughly a dozen words, a sea of hate and ignorance is rising amongst our very neighbors. The Bratzies seek to crawl up our asses and out our mouths, effectively silencing any yearning for social progress and an ever-broadening equality across all of humanity. Yet Smith leaves us with a glimmer of hope. For as the Bratzies crawl into a vacuous suit of dead skin, they overestimate their own abilities, which ultimately leads to their downfall. So
the movie's about Trump.
It might be. I don't know when he started writing it, because he probably wrote it in a goddamn afternoon. So Trump declared his candidacy.
Like it. I mean, isn't that what the Trump platform is built on? Yeah. An afternoon's worth of work?
I think Trump declared his candidacy summer of 2015.
Hasn't he been running for president since like the 90s or the 80s?
He actually did run for the Reform Party in 2000, which is funny, because he says, I won on my first attempt. Well, no, not really, you asshole.
Yeah, but I dropped my phone again. I'm sorry. It was shock.
But
I guess you might be kind of onto something. Maybe he thought he was clever, Kevin Smith. Not Trump. I think even he knows he's not clever.
I don't think the timing really makes sense. But I felt a little better about myself thinking about it that way.
So now, knowing you were probably wrong, how do you feel?
Terrible and disgusting, and I will never eat bratwurst or sauerkraut again.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. I'm glad you suffered.
Yeah, eat a bowl of dicks, Larry. Eat a bowl of dicks.
Oh, happily. So that Jesus, I'm stunned into what the fuck do you even say about it?
Yeah.
It sounds like it was more boring than anything. I expected...
It really was.
I expected lunacy.
Yeah, the two scenes where the girls are fighting, it gets so over the top that it's that lunacy. But throughout, it's just bad jokes, non-jokes, and stupid characters.
I didn't know the Nazis were bratwursts.
Yep.
when I read the description.
Yeah.
Because making you watch Nazi movies is a great joy of mine.
Yes, yeah, and well, we can chalk this up to the list because we've for a while now, picked out terrible movies that we've had to watch a little before this official podcast started. But I've had to watch Nazi movies about surf Nazis, Nazis on the moon, Nazis at the center of the earth, and now bratwurst Nazis. So yeah, that circle is just coming together.
And the movie next week is Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, thank God.
No, it's not.
Aww.
No, the only... Well, which one was the moon now? Iron Sky, and that one wasn't the worst movie, right?
Yeah,
Iron Sky, it had some kind of redeeming qualities.
Yeah, and it was a bigger budget movie. It was just weird because
which one had Mecha Hitler?
Nazis at the center of the earth.
Yeah.
Actual Mecha Hitler. Fuck, goddamn.
I'll always super like for Tinder fanatics out there. I'll always super like Mecha Hitler.
Can't go wrong with Mecha Hitler. That's the kind of guy you'd want to bring home to your parents.
He's the kind of guy you want running your Reich. Regular Hitler was constrained by flesh and blood. Fucking, we're gonna end up in court.
Oh Jesus! We just can't defame living people.
Yeah, like wishing any directors would die or anything.
I really do not wish any ill on Kevin Smith. I'm sure he's a lovely man.
I've actually heard he's kind of a tool.
Yeah,
he just wears that goddamn hockey jersey everywhere, which I hate.
And the fucking backwards hat all the time.
Yeah,
he just is Silent Bob.
Well, he talks too much.
That's the other thing. Kevin Smith, I believe, is a giant fucking pothead, and that explains this movie. Because if you're stoned out of your mind, you're like, oh, Principal Invincible? That's fucking funny, man. Oh my god. Bratwurst Nazis? What? Yeah, so that's why this movie is.
Just Bratzies.
Yeah.
You had that one word and made it into a whole... That was probably a joke he made on his podcast that became an entire movie.
Well, I don't... the concept for this movie did start on his podcast I was reading. I think his co-host said the phrase yoga hosers in some joke or something. And that's how it got started. This is the movie that
came out of it?
Yeah, and I don't know how much... Because I don't listen to his podcast at all. I don't know how much they riffed on that and kind of came up with stuff, or if it was just that toss-away phrase, and he took it and run with it on his own. So, who knows?
Jesus Lord.
Yeah.
Do you watch Rick and Morty at all?
No, but I need to.
It's very, very good. I mean, ignore the fan base, they're the worst, but it's a very good show, written by Dan Harmon. He wrote Community, and Justin Roiland do. I don't know what else he did, but he's a crazy person. But I listened to Dan Harmon's podcast, Harmontown, and you can hear them, like, coming up with or telling stories about his past that end up in Rick and Morty episodes. And
that's pretty cool.
It's super cool, and, like, you can kind of see the connections happening. And then I think of this, and it's like, well, what in the fucking mother of fuck? How did yoga hosers happen?
Fucking two stoned guys eating bratwurst talking on a podcast. God damn it.
Why is there blood sauerkraut? I really can't get over that.
I don't know. I don't think you can, though.
I don't think man is meant to understand.
No, they are not.
So Haley Joel Osment was the doctor, right?
No, the doctor was a separate character. I forget who he was played by.
Haley Joel Osment is a cameo?
Yeah, he's got 3 minutes of screen time.
Okay, because he was in Tusk for a decent amount of time. Maybe like 15 minutes of screen time. Like he was in quite a few scenes.
Yeah, no, not as much here for sure.
Okay.
All right. Well, we've come to the end of this cycle of suffering. So we got to pick some new movies for episodes 7 and 8, I think.
Yeah, we do. Is this episode 6? Wow, we're getting back in the groove really quickly.
We're cruising along, baby.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm gonna start planning our 1000th episode retrospective.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. We can have all of our amazing guests on, like Kevin Smith, should he still be alive. I don't have any other fucking jokes. I'm really blown away by what the hell I just heard. I gotta watch this movie.
Yeah, you should watch it with another human. If you watch it by yourself, you might not make it out the other side.
The dog counts as a person, right?
How much peanut butter do you have in the house?
Quite a bit.
No, there you go. That's a person. So, what are you gonna make me suffer with next week, Larry?
Well, let me tell you a story, Isaac. So, I was listening to last week's episode, and I think you may have let slip what you were planning based on something you said. And I let you know that this morning because I suddenly, it hit me like a hairy ball sack to the chin.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I was a little too heavy-handed.
You tipped your hand somewhat last episode when I re-listened to it, and you kind of indicated that you would be making me watch something in the near future, and me being the brilliant person I am figured it out, and then sort of indicated to you today through text that I would maybe be making you watch that instead of me if I had indeed read you correctly. But instead, I'm going to flip the script and make you watch Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas.
Okay. That doesn't sound good.
It's not. It's a movie I have seen many years ago. Starring John Goodman, an actor I very much like.
So there was a original John Goodman Flintstones, and this is a sequel?
This is the sequel. I do not know if the original is highly rated, but the sequel is much not.
I think the original's on Netflix, because I think I went past it and watched the preview run, because I was just, oh right, this is a thing. What the fuck is this about?
Actually, you know what? Is John Goodman even in the second one? He may have decided that he was too good for that.
I swear to God.
But I saw this and I thought, oh man, I remember watching that as a kid. It was terrible. No, it's not. It's not even Goodman.
Oh my God! When did it come out?
It's Mark Addy, 2000.
Ew. Ugh.
So, and this is probably the biggest name one of the movies we've done so far. This is something people have seen and heard of.
Yeah. Mark Addy, is that Game of Thrones guy?
Is it?
Yeah, King Robert. Isn't that him?
Oh my God! It's fucking Robert Baratheon. Wait. Is it?
I thought that was his name. I
sure looks like him. Hang on. I can't tell.
Gotta do the hard research.
It is him.
Yeah, okay. I thought so. That name was familiar.
What the fuck? Okay. Well, alright, you get to watch Robert Baratheon be in the Flintstones.
Man, that sounds like it should be good, but it's not going to be.
Oh, man. Just watch Fred Flintstone on screen and just think of my favorite line of his from the show, which is, I bet you smell like blackberry jam.
Oh, I hope he says that in this movie.
I hope so too.
A little shout out. Okay, that sounds awful. I'm upset now. I'm very upset.
Well, it's not teenagers.
Yeah, there's that. I just cheesy jokes, family friendly.
And now I have to wonder if you're going to give me what I think you're going to give me.
No, I think we're dancing around the same thing, but I found, because that one's in the pipeline for me. So we'll see.
It's been on my radar.
Yeah, we'll see who pops the other one first on this movie. But this week I found something I can't risk you getting a hold of this. And we haven't done this type of movie yet. This is, and you know how I think your last two movies have not had a tomato meter?
Yeah.
Ready for number 3.
Oh, good.
This is a action film.
Oh, no.
It's called Code of Honor, starring Mr. Steven Seagal.
Oh, no! No! Is it old man Steven Seagal?
Yes, it is. This movie came out in 2016.
Oh, my God, no.
Yes. He has the biggest, thickest, weirdest face in the world.
No.
But he's gonna kick so much ass, Larry.
Pull up the Flintstones and read the goddamn description, which we should be doing now.
Oh, right, I forgot about that.
Did I say The Simpsons? Because my brain filled it as The Simpsons. I had the Flintstones. Fucking... He's got a backwards hat on!
Yes.
Oh, no. Why?
Oh, I watched a few minutes of this movie. It's really bad. No, don't play Netflix, you stupid idiot. Okay, so the description for the Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas. Barney, Fred, Betty, and Wilma party like never before when two guys from Bedrock hit the strip. Watch out, Vegas. Ooh, they got George of the Jungle 2? That could be fun.
You want to know something really funny, Isaac? That it'll pretty much only be funny to you and I. We may have to reveal it someday. But you know what's next to that on my Netflix? To the Flintstones?
What?
Beverly Hills Chihuahua 3.
It was a good movie.
No, it wasn't. It was awful. You watched it. You tell me. Code of Honor, starring fat Steven Seagal. When an ex-special ops commander goes on a vigilante killing spree after his wife and son's deaths in a shooting, he's pursued by a former protege.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yep. And one funny thing, because sometimes I'll watch the first 5 minutes, and if I'm not sure if it's really bad enough, or if I just want a taste of the middle, I'll drop in at, minute 30 and watch 30 seconds and just confirm it's as bad as it looks like. An interesting thing happened. I forget exactly what he's doing, but one of your side characters in this movie, I'm 99% sure, is the same actor who played the creepy boyfriend in Perfect Sisters that was getting all rapey with dark hair.
Oh, really?
Yep. I think, I don't know if he's a bad guy or a good guy. He's one of the cops that Steven Seagal has to struggle against on his vigilante crimes. Fuck. Oh, man. I don't want to even hear about this movie. I hate Steven Seagal so much. He's probably the worst person. Like Kim Jong-un, Steven Seagal.
When he was young and full of life was the same. They're all the same. His daughter or his wife gets killed and he goes for revenge. And look at this. It's the same fucking movie.
My favorite story, I just heard this about Mr. Seagal. He claimed he was this incredible martial arts expert. And
I've heard about this.
He said no one could put him in a chokehold. Or no one could, choke him out or whatever. You could put him in a chokehold, it wouldn't do anything to him. He'd flex his thick neck muscles or some shit. So some guy who's an actual martial artist took him up on it, put him in a chokehold, and Mr. Steven Seagal almost immediately shit his pants and passed out.
Did he actually shit his pants?
Yes. That makes me happy.
I've read this in the past because it's on my phone as something I've viewed before. But I've heard that Steven Seagal's IMDb biography is insane, and it's very likely that he wrote it himself.
Yes, I think I've heard that too.
I believe in one of the paragraphs it's described as very virile.
Oh my god.
But maybe I'll do this next episode, but I'm just going to read the first sentence because it gives you an insight for those kids who haven't heard of who Steven Seagal is, because you may not have, and I wish I could have your life. Steven Seagal is a striking and somewhat boyishly handsome, often with a ponytail, action star who burst onto the martial arts film scene in 1988 in the fast-paced Warner Brothers film Above the Law.
Oh my god, that is so ridiculous. His head looks like a ham.
When he was at the height of his popularity, he did not look great. And now he looks like... I don't know how to describe him. He's not good. He's not good. Nothing about him is good.
Oh god. Well, you enjoy, Larry. You enjoy.
Oh, fucking goddamn it!
Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas. Oh my god, we're gonna have a rough couple of weeks coming up.
That one's bad. I've seen that one, but I remember two things about it.
I've never seen it. I'm not gonna see it. I'm going to Mexico.
You can't make your crippled wife do it and claim it's your work. That's not fair.
Damn it. Well, I can make her watch it. She can't not watch it if I leave her in the room with it.
I mean, unless the house is on a slant. No, it's not like it's going to go anywhere.
Oh, man. All right, well, That was the bowels of Netflix. Oh,
headache.
Good Lord. Yeah, I need to go die. But yeah, we do exist on the internet. We have the Facebook, we have the Twitter. They're both at Bowels of Netflix, so you could chat us up. If you want to write in a full email, that's bowelsofnetflix@gmail.com. Bowels, not bowls, you moron. But yeah, write us in, give us some suggestions, thoughts on the show, ideas for new movies to review. If we like your email enough, we might read part of it on the air. Oh, and we should be given a shout out. In the description of these, we'll have the official Creative Commons license credits. But our awesome music is from Mr. Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. He has a bunch of royalty-free music, so if you have any projects or anything, and you're looking for some good tunes to put on it, you should go on there and check it out, because you can use his stuff for free as long as you give him some kind of credit. He explains it all on the website. Amazing music, as you can probably hear under my voice right now in this lovely bed.
Yeah, Isaac found some really good tunes. Everything that's on the show is from there. And, in the past, I've been known to occasionally write lyrics to music, and maybe at some point we'll make a song with some lyrics that I've written and we'll perform. We'll see.
Yes, we got stuff coming down the pipeline.
We got all kinds of ideas. We're creative people somehow.
Well, I have an idea.
I have
one.
And Emma scheduled for 1 hour from now.
And another thing we should probably be doing is suggesting that you rate and subscribe this podcast. That would be what professional podcasters would tell you to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tell your friends. I mean, if you're listening to this, seriously, our characters aside, seriously, thank you very much. We really... He and I love doing this, and we love it for as much as we hate it and hate the movies, we love doing it. And if you actually take the time to listen, seriously, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, and we especially a rating or a review on iTunes or Stitcher, whatever place you're listening, would be awesome, just to get some more feedback. And also, if you've made it this far in the episode and you don't give us 5 stars, come on, man. If you listen this far, you gotta think we're great.
Yeah, I mean, how would you get 6 episodes of movie nonsense and not want to give us 5 stars? I mean, I have a family to feed.
Yep. And don't forget to subscribe. You can always delete episodes if you don't want, but if you subscribe, then we get numbers, and we can take those numbers and show them to people, and they like numbers.
Yeah.
Or something.
We could potentially, maybe get Audible or one of those shitheads. Okay, one of those. Why? Why you like this, Larry?
That's how we get advertisers. Yeah, fucking Audible. Who uses that bullshit?
Yeah, and then let's give them a free commercial right now. Hey, put some fucking books in your ears, you stupid asshole. No, and then I can, your numbers will help me validate my existence, because it's nice to know that someone cares.
I really think an advertiser needs to just bite the bullet and just be like, hey, you fucking idiot, drink Coke. Do it, you jackass. And that's just the whole commercial.
I think we're approaching that. Did you ever see the movie Idiocracy?
Yes, yeah.
Because that's basically what it is.
Well, that's a bad sign, I guess.
I love that movie. It's so terrible, but I love it.
It's very scary, given the world we're living in these days.
Everything's going to be fine. There's definitely not going to be Bratzies everywhere.
Oh, that's one thing to hold on to. All right, well, I guess that's it for tonight. Make sure to tune in next week. We'll be talking about Code of Honor. Ugh, sounds fun.
Oh, God.
Steven Seagal. All right, thanks for listening. We love you.
Bye, everybody.